Okay, at the top of your page, I want you to write down the learning topics, right where it says learning topics like we have before. So we have 3 topics for today. 2 of them are pretty much the same, or within the same thing. Okay, your first learning topic is I can find missing sides using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay. And then underneath that one, you're like, I just want you to draw like a little arrow because this is this like other topic, but it's also within the same one. I can identify a Pythagorean triple. And the second learning topic we're going to talk about is we're going to identify or determine whether or not a triangle is right, acute, or obtuse. Okay, so determine if a triangle is right, obtuse, or acute. Okay, so I'll give you guys I don't know, 1 minute to finish writing that down. Or 30 seconds, I guess we'll use like 30 seconds. And once you're done, put your pencil down so I know you're done. Okay, good. Okay, so our first learning topic, we just talked about it. It was the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, what is the, like we're going to repeat this again. What is the Pythagorean theorem? Yeah, essentially it's just a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Right? When do we use the Pythagorean theorem? Yeah, when we're trying to find missing sides of what kind of triangle? A right triangle. Can I use it with something that's not a right triangle? No. Okay, this is only true for right triangles. Okay, so a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now over to the right, or I want you to just put use for finding missing sides of what kind of triangle? Right triangle. Good, thanks. Sides, right triangle. If you want, you can highlight Pythagorean theorem so that way you know, oh, that was something key and important. This is the first part of our learning topic. You can highlight that, Pythagorean theorem. Okay. Now I also want you to draw a little right triangle because we're going to identify, one of the most common mistakes made is figuring out what is A, B, and C. Right? Oftentimes, we're always going to have a missing side, and students like to think that, oh, those are instantly A and B. But that's not always true. So we're going to make sure that we can do that process correctly. Oh, that was not a right triangle? Not today. Okay. Now let's see, Jackson. C in this formula is always what? What do you think it is?
Congruent.
Not congruent, but it's what, Nicole?
Hypotenuse.
It's always the hypotenuse. So in this formula, C is always your hypotenuse. So it's saying that the squares of my 2 legs of the right triangle is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. Okay. So then C is always your hypotenuse. So right underneath it, I want you to circle C. I want you to put a little arrow over here, and I want you to put always the hypotenuse, no matter what. So that should always be the first thing you can label. Hypotenuse, that's C. Let's see. Ryan, in this triangle right here, is 1, 2, or 3 the hypotenuse? See a lot of people holding up fingers. Okay, I want you guys to hold up your fingers. 1, 2, or 3, which one is the hypotenuse? Margarita, how did you know that was the hypotenuse? It was the longest side. Yeah, in a right triangle, it's your longest side, and it's always across from your 90-degree angle. So this little triangle or square right here points to your hypotenuse. Okay, so we're going to label that with C. Now in this formula, if you think about what we've learned, boys. Yep, you're done. We just are going to label A and B. Now, does it matter which side is A and which side is B? No, it doesn't, right? Because we're adding, it doesn't matter which one's A and B. So I'm just going to put A and B, but you just need to know that they're your sides. Any questions so far? Remember, if you have questions along the way, make sure to write them down here so that way when you, because most likely if you have the questions now, you're going to have them on your homework as well. Okay, so let's do example number 1. It says find the missing side in each diagram. Okay. Brian. Okay, so right here, we have our right triangle. Where is the hypotenuse? Is the hypotenuse 5, 12, or X? X. Good. So I'm going to label that C. Okay. Now, does it matter which one A and B is? No, it doesn't because we're adding. So I'm just going to label this A and this B. Now I'm just going to plug it into the formula. So I have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now, instead of A, what am I going to replace A with, Brian?
12.
12. So I have 12 squared. Instead of B, what am I going to replace B with, Ryan? 5. Instead of C, what am I going to replace C with, Hayden?
X.
X. Good. Now I can use a calculator for this process. I don't expect you to remember what 12 squared is, and if I add that to 5 squared. So you would get out your calculator, and I would just type in 12 squared plus 5 squared, right? And we type that directly into our calculator. And that will give you an answer. Now, that's going to equal x squared. So we get 169 equals x squared. Is that x? Is x all by itself, or is there something still attached to x? Yeah, we still have the x squared. So I want you guys to think for a minute, maybe turn to the person next to you. What do we have to do to get x all by itself? What is the opposite of squaring something? Riker? Square rooting something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we have to take the square root of it. So to get rid of this squared right here, to get x all by itself, we have to take the square root of it. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Okay. So in your calculator, this is what students forget to do the most. Especially my Math 1 classes, they forget that they actually have to take the square root of whatever they got on their calculator. So I want everybody to take the next 30 seconds and figure out where the square root button is on your calculator. I mean, yes, you should all by now, based on other units, know where the square root button is. But just in the slight chance that you guys don't.
Found it.
Rose, I know where it is.
I didn't know what I was touching.
Okay, so you have to hit second, and then square root.
This is so long.
Okay, once you found the square root button, show me on the calculator. I will come and make sure that you all know where it is.
It's right there.
Good, good, good,
Got it. Wait.
good, good.
Ow!
So right here, what does x equal? For those of you that plugged it in, you did more than just show me where the square root button is. Those of you that actually plugged it in, what did we get for the square root of 169? 13. Good. So my answer here is 13. Okay. Next problem. Yeah. Thanks for asking. Okay. Part B. Okay, same thing, but which part of this is my hypotenuse?
14.
The 14. So that needs to be what? C. That's C. Remember, C is always your hypotenuse. Label it that way. So then we have C here. It doesn't matter which one is A or B. Then I have my formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and I'm going to replace every part of my formula with the things that I have labeled. So a in this case is x. B in this case is 7. C in this case is 14. How is this different than the problem we just did? We don't know what x is, right? Over here, x squared is all by itself. Is x squared all by itself in this problem? No. So what do I have to do to get x squared all by itself?
Subtraction.
Yeah, we have to subtract, right? This is what I tell my Math 1 students. I've told you guys this several times. Circle the letter that we want to get by itself. We want to get x all by itself. So I need to move anything that is next to x over to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 7 squared. Subtract 7 squared. And that gets the x squared by itself. Okay. So I want you guys to plug that into your calculator. 14 squared minus 7 squared. Do that for me. Make sure this is me checking to make sure you guys know how to use your calculator. Good, thank you. Sky, what do we get when we plug that into your calculator? What, well, before you take the square root of it, what did you get? 147. Okay, now what do we have to do to get rid of the squared part? Square root it. Okay, so everybody needs to take the square root of that. Okay, and if I take the square root of that, just like Sky said, we get approximately 12 point, what was it? 12.12? Oh wait, really? Oh. Or 7 root 3. Right, and you can leave it either way. I will accept both answers in this case. Okay. I was going to say something else. Oh, that's right. Okay, before we move on and I have you guys do the practice problems. This part is really easy. Are you guys paying attention? This is the last thing we're going to talk about before you do your practice problems. Pythagorean triple. So up at the top right here, I want you to write Pythagorean triple. Now, a Pythagorean triple is when all of my sides is a whole number, not a decimal. Okay, so whole number, whole number, whole number. So is this a Pythagorean triple, yes or no? Right. Put the phone away, please. I'm not kidding. Please put it away. Thank you. Right? 5, 12, and 13. They're all whole numbers. So is that a Pythagorean triple? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Because they're all whole numbers. Right here, David. Is 7, 14, and 12.12, are those all whole numbers? No. So is this a Pythagorean triple? No. That's all you have to do for Pythagorean triple. Okay? Super easy. Okay, so I want you guys to go ahead and do your practice problems. When you're done with your practice problems, I want you to check with the people on both sides of you. Instead of raising your hand this time, just check with the people next to you. So I want you to do both practice problems. When you're done, check with the people next to you. Okay, ready, set, go. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to do that.
that says you just wrote.
Yes, triple, not a triple. Okay, make sure you talk to the person next to you and you actually do the problem. Both of you do the problem. Don't just copy down what your neighbor has. Okay, nobody knows what information we have in this problem. I want you to read through this problem, maybe do it on your own for a few seconds, and highlight the information we have. So, like, for example, I'll do the first thing. 3 feet from the wall. Okay, good. Okay, I want you to highlight the other piece of information. Yeah, you could get a highlighter there at the front if you need to grab one. Okay. So let's see here. Reagan, what is the other piece of information we have? We have 3 feet from the wall and 10 feet long. Okay, so I'm going to draw that, right? It says the bottom of a ladder must, so I'm going to draw my wall. Okay, it is 3 feet from the wall. And the ladder is 10 feet long. So this right here is 3 feet. And my ladder is 10 feet. It says, how far above the ground does the ladder touch the wall? So right here, I want you guys to circle what we're looking for. How far? So circle what we're looking for. So are we looking for my horizontal distance, my diagonal, or my vertical?
Vertical.
Your vertical. Okay. I'm looking for the vertical. I'm going to call that X. And